Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the Daily Market Insight for Tuesday, the 10th of August. All right. Now, it's losing my train of thought there. Just having a look at what's going on. Now, the main action is, if you haven't or if you're not upbeat with what's going on around the market, Fed officials say tapering is near, advancing discussion on rate hike, right? Don't think there's any chance of a rate hike anytime soon. But I tell you what, this builds up into a nice climatic situation for Wednesday's US CPI data, right? The writing's on the wall, strong employment numbers, which the Fed have said they've been watching very closely, or they want to see maximum employment before they start talking about things. We are set up perfectly for that situation. Now, if I just have a look across the markets, okay, the dollar index, you can see just cruising to the top side. No dramatic moves at this point because we need these CPI numbers to come out Wednesday to be good, and that'll put more pressure on the Fed to not change rates, but potentially start tapering their asset purchases, but at the very least start talking about doing it, right? It's basically the same thing. So what are the equity markets doing? Well, they're just not sure what's going on yet. They want to see the US CPI numbers drop before you'll see any movement on the equity markets. Strong CPI, you got to think equities get crunched. The dollar should rally and the dollar block like a risk off situation. Okay, equities hit, euro, sterling, Aussie, Kiwi belted, and the dollar rally. It's pretty much that simple, right? And if you have a look across the board here at the other currencies, I mean, if you can't tell, I've got the dollar pairs on the top where the dollar is the base currency, all moving to the top side. And the dollar block, the euro, sterling, Aussie, Kiwi, all heading to the downside. It's pretty clear what's happening at the moment. But what we need is to see Wednesday's data. Now, coming into Tuesday's trading, we've got a bit of a little precursor. A little bit of a warm-up number, I guess, for the euro in particular. The ZEW or the ZEW economic sentiment numbers. Okay, these German numbers, like big historical significance. So keep an eye on these, right? It gives you a good indication of the overall, as the numbers say, economic and the current conditions, right? Economic sentiment. So this could be a nice lead in for Tuesday into Wednesday's US numbers. Now, the CPI numbers that come out of Germany, now those numbers come in all through the day, through all the different regions. So it's a long wait, 4 o'clock by the time you get the numbers, but those numbers will be sort of already in the market in Europe earlier as each zone. It's like sort of watching an election. Each area posts their inflation numbers and they sort of group it together. So just keep an eye on that as well. Once again, weaker numbers on the inflation numbers there with a weak ZEW sentiment works with that downward bias that we currently have on the euro, right? Or if anything, you know what? I'd be almost inclined if the ZEW numbers were a little bit stronger, we get a little rally back towards that previous support line, which is now acting as resistance. I would be happy to sell back towards that level. And then it comes down to Wednesday's data to tell us really once and for all whether the dollar really kicks along or not. Now, this is the details I'll be talking about a lot. We're talking about this a lot tomorrow, about the CPI, the plan, the build-up. So focus on that tomorrow. For now, just focus on what's ahead. Like you're either waiting for the US CPI numbers or you're coming back down here to keep an eye out for what's coming out today, where today's focus will be. Those US labor productivity numbers and the ZEW numbers. They're the ones to watch for now. All right, guys, not long to wait for those US numbers. In the meantime, make sure you manage your capital well. You want all your cash ready to go for this US number. All right, guys, have a good one. Cheerio.